Hi everyone. I'm Elizabeth Sills from PRS Foundation. If you haven't heard of us, we are the UK's leading funder of talent development and new music. I'm just going to run through a PowerPoint that I've got, which explains all of our funds. And then if you have questions at the end, please do ask. Sorry, my cat might join for little bits of this. Great. So can you all see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So here's some of our successes from 2022, because we haven't got all of our stats together for 2023 yet. But 9 out of 12 Mercury Prize nominees had received PRS Foundation support, and the winners in 2023 as a collective had actually had direct support from PRS Foundation, which is all really great. So, as I mentioned, we're the UK's leading charitable funder of new music and talent development. So we support music creators throughout their career through a range of different grants and application processes. We are creator focused, so we do mainly support music creators, which is singer-songwriters, composers, producers, basically the ones who are writing the music. We support around 445 new music projects a year. Right, so the impact on music creators. So what we are able to help with is kind of creative development, including writing and collaborating with others, career development, helping you secure follow-on investments. So a lot of our grantees, once they get funding from us, they might be able to get funding from other funding bodies, and helping to strengthen industry networks and reaching new audiences. I'm just skipping through organisations because we've just changed that a little bit for a new talent development network, which I'll talk about later. But our funding priorities in general are to support the creation, performance and promotion of outstanding new music in any genre, to enable the UK's most talented music creators to realise their potential and to inspire audiences. So across all of our applications, we're looking for kind of excellent new music that is being created. So that could be, you know, the writing of the music, the performing, the touring. Also kind of the talent development involved with that. So we're always looking at what the music creator will gain from doing this, and what directly their creative development will be. So from, say, doing this new commission, where will that new commission get them? And to inspire audiences. So we want to see how audiences are reached through these works, to make sure, you know, that people are going to see the works that are created across national, regional and local and even international levels. So we have got our programs, they're all on our website, which is prsfoundation.com. And we have programs for music creators, which are all levels, which are our Open Fund and Women Make Music. And we also have our Next Steps Fund, which is PPL Momentum Music Fund, the Hitmaker Fund, and the Composers Fund and Power Up. We have international opportunities for our International Showcasing Fund, which is if you are invited to a showcase abroad, then you can apply to attend the showcase through the International Showcasing Fund. We also have funding for organisations, which is Beyond Borders, New Music Biennial and Resonate. So you can see some of our stats there about diversity inclusion. I'm going to move on to talking about our funds. So Women Make Music was set up about 10 years ago to address the imbalance in the industry. And since launching it, it's been really it's made a real difference for us in terms of that our grantees now, we are supporting over 50% of those grantees are music creators who identify as women. And this offers up to £5,000 for music creators to support the outstanding women songwriters and composers. And it has 2 deadlines a year. So through this fund, we kind of, you could apply for writing time, for kind of touring, for recording. Through this fund, we don't offer marketing as an 100% cost. So, but if you were marketing alongside a recording, a performance, or writing, then that would be fine. Our open fund is open to everyone, and is up to £5,000 for music creators. That's all genres, backgrounds, at any career stage, and that has 2 deadlines a year. And that one is actually open at the moment, which is good, because sometimes I'm talking about these things and a lot of our funds are closed. So that offers up to £5,000, like I said, and it's all genres. So in a way, Women Make Music and the Open Fund, they have very, very similar application forms. We would ask for a kind of a plan for what you are doing, and a budget and some music examples, and some questions around how this would help the main music creator involved. Like previous projects have involved recording album projects or EPs or touring, that kind of thing. All of our grantees can be seen on our website. I think sometimes if you're wondering what grant scheme to look at, I'd have a look at the list of our grantees and where you think you are within them. But the open fund is usually a good one to start with because it is open to everyone. We've got PPL Momentum Accelerator, and this offers up to £5,000 for artists at a crucial career tipping point, and it's in partnership with PPL, and Music Leads and Launchpad. So this has kind of an allocation for music creators who are based in Yorkshire, can apply for this, and it 2 deadlines a year. I'll talk more about PPL Momentum later, but this is kind of like the step before applying for that. So, PPL Momentum Music Fund is one of our next level funds, which offers it between £5,000 and £15,000 for artists at a crucial career tipping point. So this is what Ezra Collective received back in, I think it was 2018. They got the Mercury Prize in 2023. So this has 4 deadlines a year, and with this one, it's kind of, the thing about it is you need to have a team around you. So that would be like a manager, tour manager, lawyer, those kind of people. And the idea is that they're putting forward kind of like a business case for you as to why you're at that level. And the idea is that once you get this funding, you probably wouldn't need any more funding, because this project is the one that's going to kind of launch you into the next step. Hitmaker Fund is for those who are making music behind the scenes, so songwriters and producers at crucial tipping points in their careers. That has 3 deadlines a year, and it can fund studio sessions, recording, production fees, and equipment purchase, musician fees, international trips. Good examples of things that have been supported through this are, people, songwriters who are able to take kind of time to create. With this one of our grantees was a session musician and but was songwriting as well, but having this fund gave them a specific time that they were able to just focus on songwriting rather than doing the other stuff that they were doing. The Composers Fund is another next level fund, which is for classical music composers, and this is between £8,000 to £15,000. So it's similar to the PPL Momentum in the fact that, and the Hitmaker Fund in the fact that the idea is this is a mid-career fund, and once you have it, you can't come back in for other funding. So it's important to know when the right time is to come in for this, and this is quite open in what it can fund, because we understand that this career is unpredictable, as to what you might need at certain stages. So we can fund recording, touring, international commissions, international development, residencies, promotion, performance, existing works. We can also fund things like childcare through and career breaks through this. I've mentioned our international showcasing fund before. Obviously, we just had South by Southwest, but say if you were invited to play an official showcase, so they've got examples here: ADE, South by Southwest, Folk Alliance, Eurosonic, Canadian Music Week. And this fund has a rolling deadline, so it's open all the time and then continuously assessed. I think it's every 6 weeks, and you can apply for up to £5,500 for in real life events to support travel, accommodation, visa costs, per diems, marketing, filming, and streaming costs, venue hire, and music creator time. So I've gone through most of our funds now. I'm just going to come out of that and unshare my screen. Does anyone have any questions about our funds?
No one have any questions?
Is everyone here a kind of a music creator, so songwriter, producer, composer, or is there anyone here from kind of organizations who commission composers?
Oh, sorry. I was going to say I'm a singer-songwriter. And I guess, I mean, I work full time, but I guess the stuff I'd be interested in, I have got things that I would like to be able to fund performance-wise. But I also realise that whilst I'm not a bad singer, I'm not the best musician, and it'd be good to. But I think I've got some good songs, if that makes sense. So it's how I would go down that route to be able to maybe write for other people, and how that looks like. Whether that's collaboratively or not, and the funds to be able to do that, or that breaking into that collaborative space.
I mean, so do you have any? Is this something you're doing already with other people? Do you have any kind of like recordings of things like that set up?
Yeah, I've got my own stuff on Spotify. I've got about another 8 songs that. So I've got I think about 15 that are on Spotify and all the other places, and then I've got about another 8 that are 4 that are finished, another 4 that are just getting to the stage of final lyrics.
Yeah, I think with that you could apply for our open fund because it is open for everything. But just knowing specifically what you want to do with that money, like because we're not kind of in terms of career guidance, or it's led by you, and you're applying for the money that you need to do that next thing, and you need to kind of just justify that case as to what it is. So I'd recommend looking at our open fund for that, because you could apply for your time to write, and then you could then factor in how it's all going to happen from there. And if you're applying for the time to write, you just need to make sure you have the kind of project all laid out as so what happens after the writing, when is it getting recorded, when would it be released, and those things, and kind of work through a timeline, which you do have a timeline on the application form as well.
Okay.
Errol, I think you were.
I was just going to say, Errol, you were going to. Yeah. You had your hand up.
Hello there, everybody. Well, I'm a DJ and a radio presenter, and I come across quite a lot of artists who are new So I'm also in events management. So what I do is I support artists to get to where they need to get to, or be heard by who they need to be heard by. So, I mean, I was invited to this session, but I don't know whether or not the funding can support me to do what I do for others.
Unfortunately, we only kind of have this one. We only have our talent development network, but that's for kind of organizations, not individuals. But there is sometimes that it's good to meet you.
So
yeah,
I am part of an organization. I am part of an organization. So I come under the umbrella of an organization called BBSA, which is the Black Business Support Agency. So everything we do is under an organization. So one of our next steps is to hold a All Nations Music Festival. So essentially, we want to be able to showcase some of the organic, natural talent that's out there locally, who have talent, but they struggle to market themselves.
Yeah.
So that's why I came on this particular platform, and I don't know whether or not that's.
Well, and it's difficult because we have just changed our organisation funding to combine our talent development funding and organisation funding together, but we've just had the deadline for that, and we're assessing at the moment. So it's always quite hard when we run these webinars, because sometimes we're just in between deadlines, and there's something that someone might have wanted to apply for that has already gone. But there are other funders out there as well. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of Help Musicians UK. There is the Arts Council, and there's also, you know, sometimes there can be more local funders, and we have talent development organisations. Oh, Sarah, were you saying something?
No, I was just, because I was, after you were finished, I was going to let Errol know we actually have video footage of Jay Orty from Help Musicians from a forum that we ran last year. And she talks through all the different types of support Help Musicians do, including the funding that they do. But the other thing I was going to ask was, when would your next deadline for that combined organisation fund be?
We're just assessing it at the moment. It's either so it's quite difficult because it's just new.
Yeah.
So it'll either be in a year or in 3 years. So it's not that useful at all, I can see. But Errol, it's really good to meet you, and maybe we can keep in touch and see if there's anything else, because we have like commissioning funding across all genres and things like that through our Beyond Borders, which I didn't really speak about, and New Music Biennial, because we're going to be doing New Music Biennial in Bradford as part of City of Culture in 2025. But we're just waiting on our funding bid about that. So I can't. We're not sure whether it'll happen. But that is a festival of 20 new pieces of music, which is commissioned through an open call. So it is an opportunity for kind of like local organizations and national, because you know, to apply for new commissions and things like that. I know it's not showcasing, but it might be something that's interested to think about for the future.
Great. Yeah, I think if you've got my details, just let me know if there's anything you can collaborate on or support each other on. That'd be great.
Or just keep an eye on the foundation's website and follow them on social media, because they do promote a lot of what they do and what's coming up and which fund is opening up and things like that.
But we also have Power Up funding, as well, like, which is for music creators who are Black. And so if the individuals you're working with are interested in that kind of mid-career funding, that's also a newer funding program, which is which kind of goes beyond a grant. It's kind of a network that you become part of, and it happens throughout the year. And that has been, you know, really transformational for some artists, so it's worth looking at as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, that sounds like something that you could refer people to, you know, especially if they're at that stage where they, you know, they've done several gigs and they're mid-level and ready to move up to the next step. Definitely.
Did anyone else have any questions?
I think I'm on the wrong webinar, really. We're a male voice choir, so we don't actually create new music. But
yeah,
we have considered commissioning new pieces of music, which is interesting. I'm interested in that bit, really. And particularly as we're Combe Valley Male Voice Choir, which traditionally has been going 102 years now, and it's not greatly diverse, and we're trying to make it more diverse. And we have thought about commissioning pieces of music from, diverse parts of the community.
Mm-hmm.
Funding. Yeah.
Our main kind of commissioning fund at the moment is New Music Biennial, which I just talked about. But as I just said, we're awaiting our funding decision on that. But we also have Beyond Borders, which is a commissioning program, but it's probably not quite what you're looking for unless you have, because it involves partnerships with the nations in the British Isles. So you would need to form partnerships with organizations in those areas. And then it's actually really lovely, because then you would commission a composer, and then the choir would kind of get to tour beyond borders, essentially. But I mean, for things like commissioning, which I imagine is kind of like a one-off commission that you'd like to give to a composer, the composer can apply for the fees to write the commission if they are up to £5,000. So it depends how long the commission would be. And but also it's like a difficult one to go down, because you'd kind of, I don't know if you'd be applying for 100% of that commission fee, or if you have any other funding to offer the commission fee. So I would suggest looking at other funders as well, like Arts Council, Help Musicians, or researching. There are like lots of smaller grants that might be able to help choirs. I think Help Musicians used to have a funding wizard on their website, where you can type in, it's like a search engine, type in keywords, and it'll come up with grants that you might that might be useful for you to apply for. But in terms of, like, one thing I didn't mention is that we can't fund like 100% of the project cost. So whatever you're applying for, you'd need to have something else coming from somewhere else. Like if it's a recording, that could be recording income. It could be another funder. It could be ticket sales. It's just yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay, Peter?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anyone else have any questions?
Nigel sat in it's very quiet, but I know he's going to have questions.
Well, some of them have been answered basically,
okay.
because I'm kind of earmarking the Open Fund. I was about to actually go for the Talent Development Network, but I didn't have enough time to really put a really solid bid together. But I've kind of regrouped, and I'm kind of going for a combination of the PRS and, oh God, I can't remember the name of the fund. But Baggy something, the foundation that deals with the arts and music and performance and stuff. So I'm going for like just getting ready to put in a match funded application to support one of my music development project, like talent development projects. So I've kind of been listening and just you're affirming things that I've been thinking. So it's kind of like I don't really have further questions to answer them, kind
They've
of.
all been answered. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Grand. Did anyone have anything else?
Gail,
Hi, Gail.
you're on mute.
You'll probably in a moment think that that's the best place for me to be. I'm Gail from Yorkshire Youth and Music. Not looking to apply on our own behalf, but there are a lot of young creators, producers, music leaders who have been working for us over the last year, and so I came to find out. I've come to find out what are the things that I can recommend to them that they might want to, that they could think about applying for. So not here on my own behalf at all. So it's been really useful. Thank you. One or two are really quite early career development, and actually one of the things that they really struggle for is kit.
So we don't actually fund equipment.
Right.
It's a very small proportion of the budget.
Yeah, and I think that for some of them that would be fine. They've got plenty of things that they want to do, but access to equipment is always going to be a really big problem. And I know that everyone finds it difficult to raise funds for kit, as indeed do we. But that's what I came to find out, the kinds of things that you would consider.
So you know what kind of kit they're looking for. There are organisations who fund this kind of stuff, like awards for young musicians, provide instrument.
Yeah,
funds.
no, I'm talking about digital kit.
Digital kit.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Help Musicians do fund that. They have small grants. I think they have a collection of grants now. Some of them are smaller that might help towards something like that. But as Sarah said, that she's got a webinar with them doing their own webinar, so you could watch that. But you know, it is hard to actually get money for instrument for digital equipment. I can recognize that it's something that is not we wouldn't fund 100% costs for, but would be something that they could put in the budget for a small amount of the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a sort of percentage of that? So if they were going for,
it would be a very small amount.
Right.
10%.
Right. Okay. Because Gail, I mean, this Music Producers Guild, any member who joins, or anyone who joins the Music Producers Guild gets, as a member, they're able to buy equipment with 50% off equipment they get. I believe that was the case. I'm not sure if it's still the case, but that was something that they offered as part of their membership. The certain digital equipment you could purchase with a 50% discount because you're a member of MPG.
Okay, that's worth knowing. Thank you.
Yeah, but it might be worth reviewing, because Gail was actually at the forum that Jay did from Help Musicians.
Oh,
but
okay.
it might,
You've already watched
it might be it might be worth revisiting her video again and seeing, because I know she covered everything, didn't she? She covered this. It was also the support for mental health and welfare as well. It wasn't just the funding, but she did cover a lot of their grant funding that they do. So, Matt, have you?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I would just say, Sarah, to suggest them to Women Make Music and Open Fund. I think they're the best first points of call with us.
Mm. Yeah, they sound like really good stepping stone grants.
But also, have you looked into youth music?
Gail's organisation are funded by Youth Music, aren't you? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for very different work, youth justice work. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And also, Gail, of course, there's the Launchpad seminar. I watched the first of the 2 Launchpads that I did, because Whiskers goes through, you know, what Launchpad offers and the support that they offer. I was going to just say, Matt, have you got any questions you want to ask?
Hello, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Hello. Well, no, I think some of them have been answered. I was sort of looking for validation regarding the Open Fund, because that's what I'm going to go for. Briefly, I'm in a folk duo, and we released our first album last year, which was just sort of testing the water. And then we got gigs and people liked it, so we're doing another. But your first slide, strengthening the industry networks and reaching new audiences, I think that sort of crystallized what I'm wanting. I guess I could ask, I mean, I'm tempted to sort of organize a very, very local tour with it. But initially I thought maybe it would mostly be marketing expenses. Could you just confirm Open Fund and marketing?
So we can fund marketing through the Open Fund, but only as a small amount. It's not so we'd probably usually fund things like recording, touring, writing, the costs to create the new work. But we would expect you to put marketing costs in there. But it's up to £5,000 worth of funding. So if you were to apply for £5,000 solely for marketing, that would be that would make it ineligible. So you'd have to have the touring and the marketing of the touring, or was it the album you were going to do? I can't remember, sorry.
Yes, well, we have recorded the album basically. It's already been written and recorded, so that's sort of covered. So maybe this would compel us to move it more into touring locally, supported by marketing.
Yeah, I think in those applications, I think just making a case, just like you say, you want to tour locally, and that's really great. I would say just making the case as to why that's the best thing for you at this time, what that's going to do for you moving forward, and things like that.
Is it advisable for someone applying to talk to officers at PRS for support, like they do with the Arts Council?
Now, you can speak to people at PRS Foundation. You can email info@PRS Foundation, and someone will be able to get back to you. We have a phone number on the website that you can call as well to talk to a member of staff. But we also have lots and lots of things online. There was an Open Fund webinar last Friday, I think, and that was recorded, so that will be accessible via our website. And there's things on our YouTube channel as well. I mean, ideally for the Open Fund, it's kind of about thinking about where you are now and where you're hoping to be and how this funded activity is going to get you there. Also, I would just think of like there's lots of things like the budget needs to be as detailed as possible. Like where it says it'll have has a column where it says like recording, marketing stuff. So next to that in the description, we'd probably expect you to really break it down to the point of it being annoying, so that every single part of it is broken down. And then there's a figure that looks relevant to what you've suggested that you need it for. And in income, like if you are touring, we probably want to see ticket sales or like recorded income from the recording that you're doing. And we'd also encourage you to apply for other funders as well. We're not in competition with each other. One of us can sometimes spur the other one on. And if you have things like stats in any way, like you were saying you wanted to record or to tour locally, talking about your audience numbers in those areas and why you want to reach those areas and why going to these other areas is important is also useful. Basically, the things that get funded are the things where everything is in place. It looks like it's all going to go ahead, but you just need the money. But everything is scored on music and the plan. So think about that as you're going in. It has to be the absolute best music that you've got that is relevant to the project you're doing. So something that's no more than a year old, really, or a year and a half old. And then the plan is showing why now is the right time to do it. And we can't fund anything retrospectively, so it all has to happen after the decision date.
That's standard. And makes sense as well, because you want to invest. It's investment, really, isn't it? If you like. Does that help, Matt?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Okay. So yeah, when you say locally, do you mean regionally as well? So further afield, not just, brilliant.
Yes, I suppose immediately around us and Manchester and Leeds are probably really where people listen to us and have came across us so far. So
right,
or just across this sort of area, I think would be good for us.
Because have you released your music digitally then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and have you been looking at your analytics to see where your audiences are?
Only every day. Only every hour. Yes, and that's reflected in the surrounding area and our two cities, as well as Belfast, because as you can tell, I'm not from Yorkshire, but one thing at a time.
Yeah.
First we take Yorkshire.
Yeah, that's it. Take Yorkshire first.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, excellent. Okay. Any more? Anyone else want? No? Everyone happy? Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, all that leaves is for me to thank all of you who joined us this evening, and for all of us to thank Elizabeth for all her input. And welcome back to the Yorkshire posse, lass. Because are you in London? Are you in London?
Yeah, I am in London now.
Right, okay. You got to come home sometime.
I'll have a drink for you next time up in Lindley.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, thanks everybody, and I hope it's been useful, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I found it very interesting and useful. So thanks so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
And yeah,
you,
brilliant. Bye.
Bye everyone. Bye.
Bye.
That was great.